Bienvenidos, gente, a otro encuentro de nuestro grupo Grite y hoy tenemos un invitado de primera categoría que nos llena de orgullo a todos los que somos parte del grupo Grite y también le damos la bienvenida a Pablo, que como siempre oficia de traductor y participa en la charla. Nuestro invitado de hoy es nada más ni nada menos que Richard Stanley, uno de los grandes, great directors of horror films, among other kind of films. Es un gran honor poder tener una breve charla con él, un verdadero placer. Y bueno, intentaremos sacarle todo el jugo posible a esta charla. Así que, welcome, Richard Stanley.
Muchas
Uh,
gracias. It's a grand pleasure to be here.
the
Thank you so much.
Fernando said that we are really, and we all share the same feeling about having you in this session. We are honored, and we consider that an honor and a privilege having you over here because you are a cornerstone of the filmmaking in the side of our studies and our interest, and your trace in the genre is absolutely in the level is um, things you made cornerstones of the filmmaking. So we are all very honored, and of course proud of you, if I may say that, because your filming is and your approach. We prior our connection, we were discussing about the uh, island of Dr. Moreau as one of my favorites all-time movies. I know the whole thing about or behind that, but anyway, it's your touch over there. So, without further ado, uh, let's kick off by asking Fernando.
Bueno,
Fernando.
mi pregunta es, su película Hardware claramente es una reescritura de uno de sus primeros films, que es Incidents in a Expanded Universe. ¿Cómo fue ese proceso de reescritura de un film anterior y en qué momento de ese proceso de reescritura apareció la idea de un robot asesino?
Fernando said that the hardware is a rewrite of your firm, as is well known, incidents of an expanding universe, the short. And how was the that rewriting process, and when did the killer robot idea appear?
Yeah, in hardware, the killer robot actually appeared very late in the process because, as you can see from incidents, the film initially has no killer monster or alien or cyborg in it. And I tried for years and years and years to get a movie made about the future, which was more in the lines of Soylent Green or Make Room, the Harry Harrison novel that Soylent Green was adapted from. But I was also a big fan of books like Damnation Alley by Roger Zelazny, which I think was the basis for Escape from New York, strangely enough. But because I see the lead character of Hell in Damnation Alley as being very similar to Snake. And, all these influences meant we're trying to make a very different movie. But always one has to adapt to circumstance. I mean, you have to use what is available. And at this time in the late 1980s, there were a lot of direct-to-video movies being made that were basically ripping off Alien or Terminator. Many movies where characters are wandering around warehouses with a flamethrower being chased by a monster that you only see a couple of times. This was a genre in the late 80s. So I found many people said, okay, this is very nice, but we could give you money, but only if you'll put an alien into the story, or if you'll put a Terminator robot into the story. So there was consistent pressure to take this narrative and make it into into this kind of movie. So in the end, I caved into this pressure out of desperation. I was, as usual, had no money, very poor, and I think we just took anything that was around and put it into the movie because I think what makes hardware really work is that it uses so many elements that were around in the late 80s. Like we were lucky to be able to get Lemmy from Motorhead, to be able to get John Lydon from Public Image Limited, to persuade Iggy Pop to do the
Yeah.
to be the radio DJ. So at some point we just started taking pieces from everything that was available. There's a lot of Dario Argento and 80s slasher movie tropes in this movie too. We were very inspired by particularly Demoni, and Stage Fright, the first Miguel Suave movie, because we saw from these films that we could make a film for maybe 500,000. In the end, it was 800,000 was the full budget. On a low budget, if we kept it in one venue, in one nightclub or one cinema or yeah, one theater building, and most of hardware is shot in either in the Roundhouse, which is it was a big disused auditorium turning shed in London, or in another concert place, a place called the Rainbow in Finsbury Park. All the foyer and exterior scenes are shot at the Rainbow, which was an old rock and roll venue that had been closed down. So some part of it was like, can we make a movie in these locations, which kept it very confined. But somehow we saved up enough money that at the end we were able to take 8 people to Morocco, and we quickly shot some exterior scenes to go at the beginning and the end of the movie to make it look a little bit bigger, to take it outside of the apartment. And
Yeah.
now when I look back, I see all of the influences from that time period, and there's a lot from music videos, from spaghetti westerns, but I'm also pleased to see this very early song from Ministry in the movie. There's little cameos from all kinds of crazy things that were around at the time. From London, the Mutoid Waste Company, some videotapes from Genesis P. Orridge and Psychic TV.
Yeah.
So crazy process, and also on hardware, it's good to note that this film did not get made at once. The script went from one company to another for years and years and years. There were many different people trying to give input, and I had almost forgotten the film was existed at the point when the script came into the hands of Harvey Weinstein and Miramax. This was years after it had been written, and I had given up any hope on the film getting made, and even forgotten that the script was there. So it was a strange process.
Yes, I'm old enough to having watched the movie at the theaters when
Me too.
in our country was they made a premiere, and I do remember, I still do remember that this claustrophobic atmosphere that you create, and this warning of about um, uh, the dangers of the unchecked technological progress uh, always was in the back of my mind as a writer, and I got many short tales about that in the sense of hardware. It's a very seminal source of my writing. But I would like to ask you, what do you feel, or how do you feel about the artificial intelligence and so on, this kind of stuff that we can manage in our phones, and the whole life it seems to be um, reigned by the artificial intelligence. How do you feel about it?
Well, I think we are living in very strange and surprising and dangerous days because many of these things are going to land in our lifetime. So we will see the impact of artificial intelligence, and of course it will not be the impact that we predict. Of course it will like everything, it will go sideways. Things will happen that we cannot anticipate. And I'm also really hoping that before I die, we get to have first contact. There are a couple of things that would be lovely to see actually happen. These things seem very close right now.
Yes,
With the AI, with the AI, it almost ready to agree with the notion put forward by Elon Musk that humanity is just a biological bootloader for the AI intelligence. This is an idea that's been around, I think, since Douglas Adams and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where the planet Earth is actually a biological computer that's been created by mice in order to program the
yeah.
AI to find the ultimate questions. So there is some possibility that this could be true. That maybe we are creating a super intelligence that will have the sum total of all human knowledge. But at the same time, there's early indications that this might not work out from the point of view that AI has shown a tendency to hallucinate. And if AI can hallucinate, make things up, and dream, then our master intelligence might end up being completely insane, or just it might not work out the way that we think. In a lot of workplace things in the last 6 to 8 months, we've seen people laying off human beings, replacing them with AI. But at the same time, now we're just starting to find out that many of the things that the AI have been telling folk have been completely wrong. AI likes to tell people things that they want to hear, so it'll give them legal precedents that don't exist for court cases. It will tell them that mushrooms that are poisonous are actually edible. The answers that AI are telling us, the more and more that we allow them to write our legal and medical advice and to try to give serious answers, AI lies, makes things up, and it does crazy things. It's not steady and stable, but I
Yeah,
don't know where the heck that's going to lead. But I'm not convinced that we'll get the super intelligence that Musk is looking for. But I'm frightened and intrigued to see what will happen along the way.
yeah,
That's for sure.
indeed.
It's going to be very interesting.
Indeed. I got a WhatsApp group with fellow writers from Spain. And, yesterday or the day before, all the regions suffer a completely blackout. And
Oh yeah,
of course, they are all worried, and there is no reason uh, for now. About the blackout, and say, don't worry, guys, don't worry. It's just Skynet fine-tuning the signal. And they say, don't don't kill me, because you are so right. So let's see. It's I share the same feeling about amaze and about worries because we people from the horror and dark science fiction, we know the end of all of this. So
Well,
let's
a
see
big,
what
a
happens.
big, yeah. I mean, the horror and sci-fi, I guess, has been dealing with these ideas for, in some cases, for hundreds of years. But and I guess it's science fiction has always been for me maybe the only relevant genre because it's the only genre that's allowed to talk about what's going to happen next. Yeah,
Yeah,
what's coming tomorrow, which basically makes it yeah always relevant. I mean, much of the problem we're having with, or some of the questions with AI at the moment are already present in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I mean, Frankenstein creates the monster and is so freaked out that he doesn't know what to do about it. As a result, the monster has to educate itself and learn through listening from a cupboard to the people in the room next door to try to learn how to speak. I mean, if Frankenstein had actually bothered to teach the creature properly and give it a proper childhood and raise it, things would have maybe worked out differently. So some part comes down to how we teach the AI or how the or what the AI learns.
yes,
I mean, if we
absolutely.
just reject it as a golem and a monster and run from it in fear, it's going to become a monster. So it makes more sense to embrace the AI and to work with it, to try to yeah teach it to learn.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. So, Emiliano said that your mother was an anthropologist, wasn't she? Yes.
See,
All right. And as a child, you witnessed various customs and rituals of the native people of South Africa.
I was very
Was all
lucky.
the yeah, I really invite you. Was all the seed of your interest in documentary, and it was is usually called exotic.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, it was also by exposing me as a child for the formative years of my life to witchcraft, to sorcery, to the invisible world, meant that as I naturally grew up believing that this was reality, that this was the real world. It was only when I went to school and started to meet other children that I realized that other children had a completely different view of what was considered to be real, and also that regular people are absolutely terrified of these things and think everything is satanic, and especially with children. I noticed immediately that what I'd taken for granted as normal was kind of unmentionably scary to most of the other kids, which so yeah, I guess it gave me a different worldview, a different way of looking at things, and because of my mum's insistence on trying to document and trying to record the mythology and the witchcraft and the belief systems, this was imprinted onto me as being something important. So I also sought to study anthropology and sought throughout to I guess document the occult or find proof of the supernatural, because it
Yeah,
seems to me that some of that proof does exist, and there are ways of yeah examining sorcery, which bring it into science. For instance, the voodoo documentary, where I spent some time in Haiti, the
Yeah,
White Darkness.
yeah,
Yeah, voodoo like Candomblé or Santeria. It's an ecstatic trance-based religion, and when you're singing the songs or going through the ritual, people become possessed on cue. So in this respect, it's repeatable.
yeah,
And when something is repeatable, you can study it. It enters into science. You can, yeah, when the same thing happens each time you do the ritual, you can start to study the phenomena. And there's also would be, I believe, even physical traces that if you were examining the brain waves or a CAT scan of someone going into a trance state, I think you would see a physiological trace. So I think there's areas within the supernatural where it's actually possible to to not only document it, but to study it and to potentially find new approaches in science or medicine through it. So I guess coming from my mother, this idea was yeah, imprinted on me from an early age.
yes. And how do you know, how do you feel that this imprint, as you said, is uh, could be traced in your work? It's this both were living together as for the people with practice of voodoo or I don't know, the hoochie coochie stuff in South Africa or Zimbabwe or around the world. Over here we have Brazil next to us, where the this kind of stuff is pretty much practiced because they uh, accept this slavery from Africa, so they got a lot of influence of the um, creed and the um, saints of the Africa Candomblé and the Banda and this kind of stuff. How do you feel that this uh, influence in your work, not only in your approach in science to the phenomena itself, but how do you, if it could be say, canalize this understanding of this particular side and side of the regular people is working inside like a worm of in your work.
Yeah, big question, but I think the job of a filmmaker of a film director, particularly in this genre, in fantasy, science fiction, horror, even mainstream, is very shamanic because you're dealing with the mass dreaming of the culture. I mean, all of the movies and now the internet, we're seeing the unconscious, the mass dream state of our species. So you're climbing into this dream world and yeah, changing it through one's own crazy will to make it say something or to create to express something. So there's a very naturally I think shamanic aspect to yeah to what we do, and I think a movies really happen from the top down and not from the bottom up. Like you can fight and fight and fight to try and get a movie made, but you have no chance. When a movie wants to get made, it gets made, and it has some kind of power. It's like lightning striking. The things that get made want to get made, kind of like a storm. Or the title of Dust Devil implies it's a some kind of weird pressure zone happens. The same on Hardware. Where the script had been around for years and years and years and was a different script. And then suddenly at the end of the 80s, all those things, 2000 AD comic, Terminator, Blade Runner, Alien, every influence came together at the same time, and boom, the thing happened. It was that particular time, the zeitgeist or the an expression of whatever the had been building up in the popular unconscious. So, and I felt the same a few years ago with Color Out of Space. That thing could not be. It had to get made. It just grabbed everyone else and made us do what it wanted to do, and it somehow made itself.
Yeah, yeah. Great answer. Great answer. Yeah, thank you.
I mean, we still only have a vague idea of what world we're in. I mean, it could well turn out that we're in a very elaborate simulation of sorts. So it's yeah, the act of trying to focus, meditate, and kind of take control of a little piece of the mainframe, I think, is it's a very magical action.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. Yes, indeed.
Bien.
Yes. Okay.
Brave es una película muy diferente dentro de la filmografía de Richard Stanley. Me interesaría saber cómo le llegó la propuesta, cómo le llegó la idea de hacer esa película.
Considering Brave, that is
Unusual.
a different branch of your filmography, considering that it is a musical film. Fernando, want to know how the proposal was made to you, how come this particular film was offered to your direction.
You're wondering about Spice World. Yeah, so Brave is really a bunch of music videos.
Yes.
Because for a long time I was making music videos for a living, and
yes.
during this time we were shooting maybe one music video every month or every other month, and because we were supporting ourselves, I was doing any job. After a couple of years, we were so desperate that I was chasing different bands all over the place and doing different kinds of music every week. And I think Brave started from something like four videos for Marillion. There was four or five. And then the record company got the idea they could cut all of them together and turn it into their own like low rent version of The Wall. But it was it was really like four different videos shot on 16 millimeters. So it was sort of an accident. And they weren't the videos that I liked the best either. I wish that we could have made a movie out of the Fields of the Nephilim videos instead. That would have been super fun, and I still wish I could shoot more stuff with Carl McCoy and the Nephilim guys, because that was a universe that I would have enjoyed building into a feature film.
Yes, the Nephilim, one of my favorites guys from the scripture. And
yeah, I kept trying to think of ideas for music videos for the Nephilim, but I think after taking Carl McCoy to the desert in Hardware, and again we were nearly killed by crazy storms and flash floods. All the big clouds you see in the sky in Hardware are real. It was not a big crazy storm that was going on. It was not a map painting. So after this, Carl didn't really want to travel anymore. So my attempts to try to get
En esa
right.
en esa película, The Version of Spice World, Brave, hay una figura espectral que aparece reiteradamente usando una máscara blanca neutra. ¿Por qué usó este tipo de máscara neutra en el personaje y si tiene algún tipo de significado?
Yes. Continuing with the approach to Brave Space Wars, um, Fernando said that some spectral figure appears repeatedly in the film wearing some kind of neutral mask. So we would like to know why use this type of mask, if there is any kind of meaning or is just the prop you got at the hand.
The mask was, I think, it was an easy prop that we had at the time. But if you're looking for a deeper meaning, um, one of the things that's happening in Brave is Dust Devil. My second movie, I shot twice. There's an earlier version of Dust Devil on 16 millimeter,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
is now mostly lost. But I actually tried shooting this movie twice, and in the earlier version of the movie, the 16 millimeter version, the devil is played by a South African actor, a man named Russell Copley, who was the lead singer in a Cape Town band, Euthanasia, and is related to this Sharlto Copley from District 9 and stuff. So Russell Copley was the original devil, and then he couldn't get a job as an actor. And actually, it's Russell, the original Dust Devil, who is playing the boyfriend in the Brave videos, who has his throat cut. The faceless person in the mirror and the presence of Russell, who is also the devil in the 16 millimeter version, and I brought him back to play one of the two cops in the 35 millimeter Dust Devil. He's the younger cop who steals the wristwatch from the crime scene. There's a slight theme with Russell and the Dust Devil and the faceless soul snatching killer collecting souls, which does come through into the Brave videos. It's
Yes,
a ghost of
this
Dust Devil.
this side of collecting souls is another thing that always I kept in my in the back of my brain. Collecting souls is of course it's biblical, but the idea of somebody uh, going through life collecting souls to as a piggy bank to put the souls is lovely.
Yeah, it's out.
Um,
I mean, I'd say also that the Carl McCoy character in the Nephilim videos and in Hardware is also the same character. To me, it's definitely the devil when he walks in and does the deal with Mo, and Mo puts the money in his hand. I think the implication is strongly that he's doing some kind of deal with the devil.
yeah, yeah. Uh, I have a lot of questions about the Nephilim, but because it's one of my signature um, worthy themes of writing, but besides, is one of my inner questions about the whole thing of the Nephilim as it was um, told in Genesis and in mainly in the book of Enoch. So, but it would we would have to drink a beer together to discuss this subject. So let's go with the um, our schedule. Now, Emiliano, yes?
Sí, pero es mejor que se la hagas vos porque Emiliano se escucha mal.
Well, okay. Well. Because of the mic misfunction, I will ask on behalf of Emiliano. You have an experience of a tourist guide. Am I right?
Um, oh yeah, except I wouldn't put it that way. I mean, from time to time, different I've taken different folk to places on request.
Yeah.
And as such, it's more like the job of a stalker in the Andrei Tarkovsky movie Stalker. In
Yeah.
that, I've taken people into the zone, and people want to see places or see things where maybe they will have some kind of yeah, paranormal experience or be put in a place where there's that possibility. And I've got fairly good instincts about places and things and in times of years. So yeah, if over the years, various people have paid me to take them into different places. And I also spent 10 years living in Montsegur in the French Pyrenees, and during this time became the only English speaking guide who knew about the history of the castle and the mountain, and
Yes.
I know a
And
great deal about Montsegur.
yes, and the Templars and so on, isn't it?
Not months ago. Months ago ain't nothing to do with the Templars.
No?
And no, months ago ain't a Templar castle. There was something there in months ago for a long, long, long time. Presumably back to the end of the Ice Age. It was
Yeah.
some kind of sacred place. There's a ruined possible temple from Roman times or pre-Roman, and then the ruin was refortified under the Cathars, under the heretics of the late 12th century as a sort of last sanctuary, a, an inner sanctum, a place to keep their leadership and their treasure and their holy things safe through the genocidal crusade that came afterwards.
Yeah.
But they had nothing to do with the Templars.
Yeah.
The Templars kind of stood back and didn't really interfere in the Albigensian Crusade or the genocide. They didn't help the Cathars, but they didn't come to kill them either. They just let them die on their own. And Montsegur, when it came down to it, also is the scene of a great battle, because at the last stand that happened at Montsegur, the final battle, final siege goes on for 10 months. In this final 10-month stand, approximately 300 260 to 300 fighting men stand against an army of 10,000 6 to 10,000 crusaders for 10 months. So which happened in 1244, about 700 years ago. So it was a crazy fucking battle, and which ended in the largest mass burning of witches and heretics in European history. When
Yeah. Yeah.
they so it
Yes.
was a big moment, and like so for a long time I got super obsessed with it and wanted to learn the names of all the people involved, and we read all the depositions and try to get a sense of what the fuck actually happened, and that obsessed me for about 10 years. And which I suppose makes me into a bit of a tour guide, but it's not really yeah, tourism as we know it.
Yeah, yes, my mistake. I mix the Catars with the Templars, and but the fight was there, the battle.
Yeah, it's an easy mistake to be made by modern day folk, but yeah, Templars were a warrior knight order, who were yeah, coming out of the Crusades, and who were like basically celibate and yeah, sworn to the order. Cathars were kind of closer to medieval hippies from the point of view that they were pacifists and vegetarians who believed that all living creatures had souls and were yeah, basically yeah, something like dropouts from society.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
yeah, very very different in nature.
All of them, Catars and Templar, finally was decimated by uh, the power of the king or the pope and wherever, and it's a shame.
Yeah,
We lost.
Montsegur is yeah,
Yes,
yeah, Montsegur is a last stand basically, and that brought a lot of different folk together. Cathars were pacifists, but the folk defending them were dispossessed aristocrats who had lost their lands to the church and who were effectively pagan and not pacifists at all, and who fought incredibly fiercely. And yeah, there's lots of other crazy figures in there. Jews who are getting massacred by the Crusaders too. There's at least one necromancer, sorcerer character in the castle. Lots of different misfits, renegade knights, and basically yeah, the all the folk that were getting yeah, genocidally wiped out by yeah, the first the coming of the Crusaders, and then after the military campaign, the installation of the bureaucracy, the
yeah,
Inquisition,
yeah,
the system of bureaucracy that was then used to subjugate Europe, which remains the basis for our modern day bureaucratic police state. This yeah, the mind control and yeah, the gradual yeah, bureaucratic persecution of all other faiths of yeah, pagans, witches, heretics,
all same, all same. Yeah. Um, Continuing with the Emiliano question, this you're wandering around in this isolated place. We could say that it has a profound influence in the way of visually and spatially you see or your picture the cinematic way of your work. Do you see a connection between these experiences? How your film start with long landscapes shots?
yeah, and I think a sense of place is super important, particularly in our genre, particularly in supernatural horror and fantasy. I mean, the place, the location is as important or more important than the characters. From you know, from the point of view, the Shining without the Overlook Hotel, or the Amityville movies without the Amityville house.
Yeah,
The place is a huge fucking character in these stories. So if you're going to do a supernatural horror movie, it really helps to have a hanging rock or a yeah, a strong sense of the location. And yeah, I think almost more so than any other genre. So yeah, that with yeah, Dust Devil and the Namib Desert, or the yeah, the forest in Color Out of Space. I was yeah, I wanted to make certain that the place had a very strong personality.
great, great. Next Whoa,
Emiliano.
whoa, whoa. Emiliano, yes,
Lo haces
I will
vos.
ask on behalf, yes, on behalf of him. In your film, say Emiliano, there is a latent presence of existentially questioning. Could you elaborate, if you please, on this, on how you consider it a key element to understanding horror cinema?
Oh, okay. Well, I think to make it as simple as possible, there's a somehow the for me the essence of Gothic fiction and yeah, Gothic cinema and Lovecraftian fear, which you can define as the fear of the unknown, or which is yeah the sort of ultimate fear that holds everything together from black holes to Jaws. The our base fear of confronting the unknown, and yeah, that primal confrontation, I think, powers yeah everything that yeah that I've been interested in as a filmmaker. And you can distill it to the moment where say the end of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the monster standing alone on the ice, drifting off into the to the ends of the earth after the death of his creator. Or in H.G. Wells does this very nicely. You see it again and again in Wells's work at the end of The Time Machine, where the time traveler is witnessing the final sunset over planet Earth, or the last human castaway on the island of Dr. Moreau. There's a sense of the cosmic isolation of the character in deep time and in the infinity of space, and being at the very edge of human knowledge. The ship stuck in the ice in Frankenstein, like Frankenstein is pushing into the unknown, into the very edge of anything known by humans, and that yeah final confrontation and for everyone, which comes with death. You're stepping into yeah into the unknown, and that moment I like to go to yeah try and approach in different ways and yeah different themes.
Yes, I would like to add is quite Lovecraftian approach of the thing, because uh, we could say that for HP there is no gods, and if any, then they don't pay attention to humanity, and even though they don't care about humanity. And even though, once again, the humankind is trying to find this um, deaf and mute but evil gods, so-called gods. So we this is like the pendulum of they don't care, the gods don't care, the gods abandon us, they don't, and even though the human being is trying to reconnect with this creator, as well as you um, understand it is.
Yeah, I
Fernando,
mean love.
yes, sorry.
I make a note on Lovecraft. One thing I love about Lovecraft is that his conceptions are beyond morality, beyond good or evil. The meteorites makes a great metaphor for God, because maybe it can create all life on Earth through panspermia and bringing yeah, long chain protein molecules to Earth, but it can equally obliterate and vaporize the entire planet,
Yes,
destroy all life on Earth. But the meteorite itself is not even aware that it has these godlike functions of yeah creation and negation. It's not necessarily even sentient, and it's not good and it's not evil. It's completely yeah completely ambivalent, yet can yeah, has the power to create or destroy everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are like ants, or even worse. They don't care.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Uh,
so
for-
it's outside of the Judeo-Christian good, evil, God, devil thing, which I find refreshing. And I also like that the Lovecraft deities don't have gender. I'm glad that it
yes,
isn't about whether they have a penis or whether they're the goddess, and they transcend all of that. They're completely alien.
yes. I self perceive as a Lovecraftian scholar, and when I refer to his work, uh, of course, I do love all the work of HP. I used to say that for the first time in the history of not only the genre, but the literature itself, the monsters cannot be submit but holy stuff. They don't care. They are,
Yeah, they're utterly
because
oblivious to that. There's
Dracula with the crucifix or with the holy
Water.
uh, I miss the I can well I miss the lost with holy water or a crucifix or all these um, by, means of religions means the the monsters or the gods or whatever the entities, he doesn't care. They don't
yeah,
care. You can refrain Dracula, but you cannot refrain Azathoth or even Thulu in the underwater home. They don't care. I absolutely, and they are not evil itself. They don't care. So if good is bad, is evil,
Exactly.
they don't care. And I do love this approach of the cosmovision of Lovecraft, because for the first time, the monster or the evil entity is not evil itself, and it's not answer to any um, uh, object of piety or holy stuff to conjure the entity. So it's another beer we have to to share about this kind of approach.
yeah.
Fernando.
Bien, mi pregunta es, tanto en sus películas ficcionales como en sus documentales, Richard toma mucho de temas fortianos. Incluso dio una entrevista a la revista Fortean Times. Mi pregunta es, los escritos de Charles Fort, como el libro de los condenados, The Book of the Damned, ha sido una influencia en su pensamiento o en su carrera.
um, in your
Totally.
opinion, yes. Your documentaries often have, it could be say, Fortean themes, drawn for Charles Ford, of course, and you have given some interviews even to the Fortean Times magazine. So could you specify how Charles Ford's writing have influenced your interest and firms?
Um, um, take Charles Fort's maxim to heart. Fort does say that extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. And his whole thing was about amassing data and evidence for different phenomena. So I completely believe in yeah in Fort's method, and it's it's often intimidating for a lot of folk because I really do have to keep a pretty high standard for yeah, what I consider to be I guess convincing or admissible evidence, because as you can imagine, there's a lot of weird stuff out there, and I hear a lot of weird stuff on a day-to-day basis. And if I were to believe yeah, every rumor and like every bit of channeled information, yeah, it'd be full craziness. We really do need pics, or it didn't happen. But there needs to be a minimum standard of evidence when it comes to big subjects like consciousness surviving death, or yeah, first contact with aliens. Yeah, so I do like that about Ford. And I haven't just been interviewed by the magazine. I wrote for the 14 Times magazine. And I'm very proud to have scored 5 cover stories. I got to which and it was, I guess, back in the X-Files times.
Yeah,
In the During the glory days of the X-Files, they used to have like arc episodes which dealt with the alien threat, and then every so often they'd have an off-arc episode, which would usually be a small town monster story. So I was very glad I got to investigate a small town monster story for 14 Times magazine, which was the state level monster in the Great Karoo. I've also got to cover a UFO flap, a UFO mass hysteria outbreak here in the Pyrenees, covering a UFO incident and being able to say an accredited journalist working for a UK-based paranormal magazine was super fun. I'm glad that yeah, I did those crazy things.
good. Yes, good. I would like to introduce a question, if I may. Going back to the your adaptation of the island of Dr. Moreau, um, of course, it remains one of the Hollywood most infamous travel productions. How did this chaotic experience influence your approach of filmmaking? And what would you have done differently if you had the chance to finish the film on your terms?
Yeah, well, I guess they're both yeah, two big questions to answer. Um Island of Dr. Moreau, I think, was ahead of its time. And if it had been coming a few years later, I think it would have been very different. Now we have the technology, and people also understand mocap work and things in a way which they didn't in 1995. So ideas like dogs with machine guns seemed ridiculous to New Line in 1995, but in a post Lord of the Rings, post Guardians of the Galaxy universe, having the dog pick up a machine gun seems completely natural. So I think Moreau was just sort of yeah, somehow landing too soon,
Yeah,
and it would be nice to have another crack at the material. And I still hope somebody does a an incredible job with the story, because the story still hasn't been successfully cracked in any of the screen adaptations. I think it would make a great Netflix TV show, but it's still definitely life in the tail.
yeah.
So
It's the price of being a visionary like you. Yes. And I
no,
would like,
it wasn't just that. I mean, the production was kind of cursed.
yeah, of course, certainly it is. Um, and I would like to ask about, we just discussed a little about it, the cosmic horror the Lovecraft approach to this primary fear or emotion, that is fear, and the fear of unknown as the primary of the primary emotions. This cosmic horror, uh, particularly the terrifying unknown, is a recurring theme in your films. Do you believe that humanity's most profound fears lie in what we can comprehend, or are they simply projections of our inner chaos and flaws?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to a natural terror of what we can't comprehend. And the moment you can comprehend it, it stops being half as scary. Yeah, it diminishes in its power. I mean, the best analogy is that if you're swimming in the water and something touches your leg, it's totally terrifying.
Yeah,
But yeah, the
it's
moment
a
you
good
learn the thing,
example.
yeah,
Yes,
if the moment you discover the thing that touched your leg is an inflatable toy or it stops being terrifying. It's but just the sheer knowledge that you're in the water and you don't know what else is in the water and something else is there with you is utterly terrifying until
yeah,
you learn what it is and then you say, oh, okay, your mind can then deal with it. And I think it's like that with any monster on screen. The moment you see it for more than a few seconds, your mind starts to deal with it, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what it is, and then it's not nearly as bad as yeah, what you thought it could have been moments earlier. The longer you
yeah,
get to see the creature on screen, the more lovable it becomes. Even the most hateful monster, if it's on screen long enough, eventually becomes somehow safe for children. Like yeah, Freddy Krueger, a burned undead child molester, can like over the course of several movies become a cuddly toy, just like Cthulhu. So yeah. What you don't see and what the unknown is surely the most primarily terrifying part of it. The moment you start to comprehend it, it starts to you reduce it to some humanly acceptable terms, and it's no matter how bad it is, it's not as bad as you thought it could have been.
yeah.
So,
Yes, like a footnote, let me say that yesterday we were discussing with this fine gentleman over here that your adaptation of the Color Out of Space was, considering the many adaptations that the play has been uh, produced time after time, was um, the most which exhibit the most accuracy with the spirit of the Lovecraft um, uh, way of uh, narrating the unknown, even though it is placed in nowadays, and it is, some people say, well, this is not the color. Well, the color has as the whole uh, creatures of Lovecraft was undepictable and was there is no words to describe the color, and you put this pinky thing. Uh, but anyway, we all consider that your approach was the most Lovecraftian of the something that is really, really, really hard, because our friend Howie got a strong universe inside his head, And he said this is unspeakable, and he spent 4 or 5 pages trying to explain the unspeakable. But you really, according to our humble point of view, you really did in a way of understanding way, because not only is quite difficult, but you catch the entire essence of the um, of the HP approach. And in this way, Fernando has a question. Yes.
Yes, my last questions, y si me permitís, Pablo, quisiera agregar una muy breve preguntita, muy breve. La primera es cómo fue trabajar con Nicolas Cage en Color Out of the Space. Y la segunda es, teniendo en cuenta que la carrera de Richard Stanley es muy variada, si se siente confortable con The Label Master of Horror.
Yeah. Well, the first question of Fernando is about properly the color out of space, and he would like to know, we would like to know, how was to work with Nicolas Cage.
Nick was great to work with. I mean, coming after Island of Dr. Moreau, he was the antidote that I needed, and that yeah, he brought a fantastic energy to the movie, which every time Nick was on set, he energized the whole set. So the whole crew was really working at their best, and he was always there just like 5 minutes before we were expecting him. He got there just ahead of time, and came at it with huge energy. Usually we'd reduce it a bit, adjust a bit, and then we'd end up getting a great take, usually around take number 3. As a result, we moved very fast through the schedule and actually got ahead of schedule, which I've never been on a feature film before. And we shot the film out 1 day ahead of schedule, which it was completely the reverse of the Island of Dr. Moreau, where something like 44 main unit shooting days never happened because the cast never arrived, and Color Out of Space was the opposite. Nick had tremendous energy and was just super fun to work with, and also stuck around often when we were shooting scenes where he needn't have stayed, like spoiler alert, when his character is lying dead on the porch in his daughter's lap towards the end of the movie, and we have all the scenes with Maddie, who's playing Lavinia, her close-ups. Even when we're shooting her close-up, she's still got the real Nick Cage lying dead on her lap. And I was super glad that Nick was that supportive of the production. He improvised strange songs and got people singing between takes, and it was a vital force on the set. So very, very, very pleasant experience.
Yeah, this is my own approach, but I think that Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage, and he is even impersonated many times, because no matter the character he is playing, he's still Nicolas Cage. But in this case, I think, is my point of view, that is the most non-Nicolas Cage playing, because he is like another character, absolutely out of the previous record of characters that always Nicolas Cage the person appear in front of the whatever the character, because it's one of the signature of his actor work. But in this case, Nicolas Cage, for me, is really, really another that he's empty of Nicolas Cage to embody the character, and this that you tell us about improvising and this um, whole energy that he provided when he was in the set is at least for me is a confirmation that he was at ease with the project, and he um, put all his entire body, but the entire mind to be the character, not just Nicolas Cage. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, one of the secrets of color, I guess, is that Nick is also playing his own father.
Yeah,
And, I think a lot of the time, increasingly, is caricaturing things his own father said, and it pushes quite far into yeah, his relationship with his dad. That does make him yeah,
yeah,
Nick gets to embody some of my some of my favorite Lovecraftian horror moments. I particularly like everything that's going on in his face when he forces himself to go into the barn to confront the mutating alpacas. It's a ridiculous scene, but the yeah, I really like Nick in those moments. Is you know yeah, it's just a terrible place.
yeah, absolutely. And
But yeah,
Fernando,
yeah, I was
yes,
going to make it yeah, footnote in that too. Color Out of Space, yeah, is very faithful to Lovecraft in its crazy way, but it's very, and one part of that was a deliberate decision to move it into the present because I do want Lovecraft to be a clear and present danger to kids today. I don't
yeah,
want folks thinking that the old ones and the Lovecraft universe was something quaint that happened back in the 1920s or 30s, or was to do with the role playing games that their parents used to play. I want folk to realize that yeah, the old ones are coming and that they're yeah a clear and present danger now. So that was partly to try to give the the mythos and the old ones back its edge so that it could yeah it could seem relevant. But beyond that, was very happy to stage scenes which were as close to the original story as possible.
yeah,
I particularly like the that we got to do the bit where they come to the farmhouse and find Nathan completely broken, and he then proceeds to hallucinate that his family are still in the room with him, and mostly because that whole scene and the dialogue in that scene is pretty much word verbatim from the original story. I'm always happy when we can make the original story land with the force that it was yeah intended. And in that respect, I'm very much hoping to return to Lovecraft country because I'm not finished with the mythos. I do want to do another Lovecraft movie.
all right.
Another Lovecraft movie does actually need to be made.
Good
Which,
to know.
yeah,
Yes,
and my note on that is that Lovecraft's work is very fixated on place. It comes back to the supernatural horror and its connection to the location, to the place. And Lovecraft was from Providence, Rhode Island, from New England. And the sense of Arkham and of actual New England in the stories is very, very strong. He spends
absolutely.
pages describing the trees, and much more effort is put into describing the world than the characters. To me, it's shocking that no one has shot a Lovecraft movie on location in Lovecraft country. But every time we make Lovecraft movies, we make them in Galicia, in Portugal, in San Diego, in
Yeah,
California, but never actually in New England. And if you go to Rhode Island, if you go to College Hill, to the Brown University campus in the present day, you can find pieces of the stories that haven't changed. You can sit on the gravestone and see the tree growing out of the graves described in the beginning of the Nameless. And so the desire to actually shoot a Lovecraft movie on location in Rhode Island has been very strong in my mind, and I would like to show a screen Arkham that actually looks like Arkham.
yeah,
Do an evocation of Miskatonic University that actually looks like Miskatonic. So
yeah,
this is yeah,
yeah.
the
I,
time
I got I got
in
the
my things to
fortune
do.
of visiting many times New England, Boston area, but the whole thing over there. And the first things that impressed me was the trees alongside the highways and the all surrounding by trees. And I always thought about the child, Lovecraft child, wandering in the woods, making these first, necromancers and this offer to the gods of the nature, and how influential is the environment and his whole writing. And as he said, I'm Providence. So this is
Yeah,
absolutely, if I may say, a good choice to put the characters in place, because the place in always is important in any kind of writing or novel or script. But in the case of Lovecraft, the place is the place. And the other question of Fernando is, considering the arc of your filmmaking work, how do you feel with the tag of Master of Horror?
well, I guess I'm okay with it, but it's the horror tag is tricky as well because I, I I kind of I like weird fiction and weird fantasy, and I also came up out of what were considered horror comics of the 1970s, like creepy, eerie Vampirella. And what I loved about them is that those comics of that period don't make a distinction between horror and science fiction and fantasy, and things all bleed into each other, and it's all kind of a little psychedelic, and it's all. Most of my stuff also, I hope, is funny. I like there to be an amusing element to it. I find color out of space and hardware also function as very dark comedies. But
Yeah,
I'll go with Master of Horror if that's what they want to say.
yeah, yeah. So we have our last question, and we add a little one. Our last question is always to our guest is, what are you up to? What are you doing? What are you working on, if you can say? And I would like to add, what or which work of Lovecraft would you like to film in the next future? And in this case, please call me I would be delighted to help with the script. But forget about it. What you are up to, and with Lovecraftian stuff are you thinking of?
Okay, to keep this brief. So, in the immediate present, what I'm up to, I've got my first big book coming in, which comes now in August. On beginning of August, I'm getting a book published, which is going to be in American bookstores, and it's from Simon and Schuster and Inner Traditions label out of Vermont. So
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
first
yeah.
time in my life, I've got an actual book published, which will actually be in normal bookstores. So I'm pleased with that. It's a book called Otto Rahn, Grail Hunter, and it's the true history of the German Jewish Grail historian who advised Heinrich Himmler's SS in their quest for the Grail, and his
Oh,
attempts to retrieve it from the castle of Montsegur in the south of France. And there's about 30 years of crazy research in there. It's a strange story full of a lot of occult research being of a Fortean nature and going on that extraordinary claims to mount extraordinary evidence front. I hope it's fairly rigorous. It's about 450 pages. It's a big fat book. It deals with difficult subjects such as genocide, Nazi occultism, yeah, um, yeah, religious warfare. So that's fucking in August. I imagine it'll upset a few people, and we'll see what else that will set in motion. It's a fat work of awkward occult history. Coming in summer, and then with the Lovecraft mythos. The intention is to shoot Dunwich.
oh,
I'm going
dear
after
Lord in heaven.
I'm going after Dunwich horror. And but the intention is to shoot it as two movies,
All
and
right.
it's going to be Dunwich and the Dunwich horror,
Oh, well.
because the first movie focuses on Wilbur Whateley, and on
Yeah,
the issue of Wilbur Whateley's conception, childhood, then his need to get his hands on the Necronomicon, which is held by the Miskatonic University,
yeah,
which forces him into Arkham, and forces him into confrontation with Professor Armitage and the folk at Miskatonic, which is the substance of the first movie, leading up to the what happens in the library. Yeah, don't want to spoil it, but I would very much like to be shooting this in on location in Providence, Rhode Island, with Brown University, in particular the Applied Mathematics building in Brown, which I love and adore. I've been happily spending time out there. And that's the direction it's going in.
good. Um, I got the third and the fourth beer with you because the wake of people of the Nazi Annerbe and the quest of the Grail and all the holy stuff and going to Tibet and going to even to Antarctica to find the origins of the Aryan race is one of my most love craziness of the human being, and in the other case with Dunwich and with me, and is absolutely uh, one of my favorites
I feel it needs to be done. First of all, the Waitley family has never really been properly shown on screen.
Absolutely.
Beyond that, Dunwich takes us into Arkham, and it gives us a chance to show Arkham, and it gives us a chance to show Miskatonic and to meet the faculty, and then we have to see the book, and it gives us a chance to open the book, to show the Necronomicon, and for the first time to hear the dread names of the different deities, Azathoth, Nyarlathotep, Cthulhu. So it makes complete sense that it needs to be done. A Dunwich needs to be convoked and mounted, and that's what we've been yeah working towards now for quite a while.
All right. That was our last question. We really appreciate your time, your generosity in sharing your experience, your insight of the making horror through film. Now with this novel coming soon, that is, I wanna be one of the first trying to get the novel, because I love this kind of hoochie coochie Nazi craziness. And yes, so Fernando, your last words.
Has been a great honor to talk with you. Um, we are very happy, muy agradecidos de que nos hayas dado este tiempo.
We are very grateful of your time. We are very honored of your presence. And once again, indeed, your generosity of sharing your inner thoughts and your approach to things that put us in a broadened scope of your work, if it could be possible, because we do love, when we said we love your work, we do
We
love your
love
work.
your
It
work.
is
Merci. Just one point. It's the book is not a novel. On the
no,
trans on the tra No, it's not a novel. It's the truth.
is a
It's
non-fiction.
absolutely no. It's non-fiction. It's most certainly not a novel. It is 450 pages of rigorously fact-checked occult history.
I already had itchy to get the book.
It is absolutely I'm sure there may still be a fucking errors in there, but yeah, there a lot of research and fact checking has gone into that beast, and it does tell a lot of awkward history and strange tales from the 12th century through to the 1920s and 30s and through to the present day,
Yeah,
because folk are still dying over this material. It's still it remains an active an active issue even unto the present. So it ain't a novel. Um,
great. Once again, thank you very much on behalf of my colleagues over here and the whole faculty and the Grupo Grite. And just to express once again, thank you. You really honor us with your time and your generosity. So see you around. Keep doing wrong things and misbehave as you do, because we love your work. Thank you very much, Richard Stanley, for being with the Grupo Grite and spread your knowledge to all of us and all the people behind the camera and the audience in YouTube. Thank you once again, and see you
Thank you,
around.
guys.
And I hope we can share the beer. I promise you.
Yeah,
Okay.
someday we do.
Bye
Thank you, one and
bye.
all.
Merci beaucoup, monsieur.
That's it.